And welcome back to another edition of Big Apple Hockey. I am your host for today, John Fulkowski. I wanted to do a brief good, bad, and ugly video for last night's game since it was a little late last night. I didn't get home until about midnight, and I didn't think we were going to have many viewers on for that. So I wanted to do this today. I don't have a ton of time, so I'm going to try to go through this quickly. And the Q&A time probably won't be as much as it would normally. I know the last video I did, we ended up going about almost 3 hours because everybody jumped on and the Q&A, the comments were buzzing. So without any further ado, let's get into the good, bad, and ugly. Let's get down to business. All right, so again, it's that time. It's time for the good, bad, and ugly post-game wrap-up here. I know it's a little late post-game, but again, like I said, just a late night last night with the game starting at 8:30 and then not being done until after 11. I didn't get home until about 12, so didn't figure it would be a good time to do that. A little too late. But we're going to start off with the good as usual. And the first point that I wanted to make was, obviously, we got to talk about this guy. Artemi Panarin loves playing his former teams. He just absolutely kills him. And in now 2 games against the Blackhawks back-to-back, he has 7 points after a 4-point night last night. 7 points. Yeah, that's a lot. And you know what that did for him? It brought him to 5th place in the NHL. 5th. And he was tied for, I think, 11th or 12th before that. So a 4-point night will definitely do that for you. Artemi Panarin has looked really great as of late. He's clearly back to the player he was. I know that in a lot of my good, bad, and ugly posts earlier on in the year, I said that there was something that looked off about Panarin. Yeah, there was something that definitely looked off about him. And whatever it is that was off, it's gone now. It's gone now for sure, because this is the Artemi Panarin that we've grown to know and love over the last over the course of the 3 seasons that he's been here, obviously 1920, 2021, and now this year. So Artemi Panarin is back, and he's reestablished himself as probably the best winger in the best left winger in the game, if not arguably the best wing in the game, unless you want to consider Leon Draisaitl a wing. That's a sticky situation considering he plays both. But yeah, Artemi Panarin has just been elite. He's been really good. Last night, he was just dominant. I thought he was great on both sides of the puck. Again, when he plays his best game, he reminds me of Pavel Datsyuk. All the little things that he does, where he takes the puck away from people, pickpockets them, his leverage and his body positioning and his play down low against the walls, against the boards rather, and just the way that he thinks the game reminds me of Datsyuk. Maybe just not at that level defensively. Obviously not, because Pavel Datsyuk is probably one of the 5 best two-way players I think we've ever seen play this game. But Artemi Panarin does a lot of the little things that he does just at a far lesser level. So good on Artemi Panarin to really get the job done there last night and really just assert himself into that game and dominate. So I mean, he had a big night. That second line was the best line in the ice all night, as they've been as of late. And the other 2 players on the line definitely contributing as well in Ryan Strome and Dryden Hunt. So, again, Panarin, big night against the Blackhawks. Can't really say enough about what he did against them. And then to go on to the next point, Adam Norris Fox. And yeah, I think I'm just going to call him Norris from now on, because he deserves to win it for a second year in a row. And if he does so, he would be the first back-to-back winner since Nicholas Lidstrom. And honestly, it wasn't even the offense for me last night. It was the defense. And hey, Jack, by the way, hey, Sean, good to have you guys in here. But Adam Fox had 6 blocks last night. And not only was it the blocks, but it was just the defensive plays that he was making, just moving the puck out of the zone. And again, points are sexy. And that's what a lot of voters look at when they look at Norris voting and they ultimately, vote on the players to win those awards at the end of the day, points are sexy. I get it, but you can't overlook what Adam Fox is doing in his own end in the neutral zone, and even the plays that he's making to keep the play alive in the offensive zone. The stuff that doesn't show up on the score sheets, Adam Fox is just he's a next level hockey mind. He's one of those guys where I'm not saying he thinks it at Wayne Gretzky's level, but he thinks the game like Gretzky did, where he's like a step or two ahead of a lot of guys that are out there. He truly is incredible. He really is. And he is, you're right, unbelievable as well. You could just tell, you're right, Jack. He understands the game at a level higher than anyone else out there in any game that he is in. With maybe an exception of Connor McDavid. I've never seen anyone process the game the way that he does. But Adam Fox is just one of the smartest hockey minds I've ever seen in my life. And the quote, that he was quoted as saying to Nils Lundqvist, where he basically just said everybody else out there is stupid and you should take advantage of it. I mean, Adam Fox, it's pretty much right. Adam Fox just thinks the level at a game that we haven't seen other than maybe a select few players in the history of this game. I know that some people might have an issue with that, but when I've been watching the sport for 30 years, I have seen very few people that can do the things that he does. And I don't know if any of you saw the Cale Makar highlight. And yes, Sean, we have some good seats for AEW tonight, I believe. So I'll talk about that more a little later, but because I want to get through this. But you're right about this. He has the patience because he's 3 steps ahead. He is playing chess when everyone is playing checkers. It's pretty much what it comes down to. And I cut myself off here, but if you saw the Cale Makar highlight against Philadelphia, where he does that little stutter step in and he pivots and turns his body at center ice and then basically skates in, Fox did the same thing twice last night, and nobody talked about it because he's not skating at the same speed that Cale Makar was. But what he did was just as effective because he gained the zone on the power play and set it up, and they scored another power play goal. I mean, I know that Makar's look sexier because he scored the goal because, he's like a modern day Paul Coffey, if you will. But Adam Fox does the same thing. And despite the drastic difference in speed, he can still pull that off because this right here, it's all here with him. He's cerebral. And that's why when Cale Makar's skating, another spam bot, and we're gonna block that. Yeah, it's when Cale Makar is skating like that and his skating goes, Adam Fox's game is going to be able to last because he's not running on skating like that. Cale Makar is. Cale Makar's game is very dependent on speed. Adam Fox's is not. So Adam Fox will last the test of time. And he really does have a chance to surpass Brian Leetch as the greatest defenseman in Rangers history. And yes, he did. Oh my God. You know what? That he made that play and blocked that shot. And I was just like, are you kidding me? And it's not that he's putting his body in front of Fox, Fox is putting his body in front of the shots. It's that he's getting his stick in the lanes so that he doesn't have to put up his body in front of the shots. And he's still blocking these shots the way that you should do it. Because you shouldn't have to be on the ice, sprawled out, or down and out so that you can't recover and block after blocking a shot. He's doing it the way you should do it. Oh, I can't stress this enough as a defenseman myself. I really can't. So, and Steven, you're right here, buddy. I mean, I would say speed is the other thing because Makar is just an incredible skater. He's one of the top 5 skaters in the league easily. But, oh my God, And Sean, yes, Fox can slow the game down to his liking because he controls the pace, and that's what the great ones do. We will talk about this later, Sean. Good evening, Mikey. And it's Snow Angels. Yeah, they're not conducive. And yes, this is another great comment from Steven. Fox reminds me of gymnastics, where the gymnastics invent new plays that are named after him. Fox, he just does whatever he wants because he has this over everybody else. I don't think I've ever, outside of Nicholas Lidstrom, I've never seen a defenseman that intelligent. And Nicholas Lidstrom is arguably the most intelligent defenseman I've ever seen, one of the most intelligent players I've ever seen. The similarities in terms of style of play, and I'm not saying level of play, but style of play, are just frighteningly accurate. So Foxy is like bullet time in the Hitman series. I love it. Bring all the good Fox comparisons on, boys. So, and yeah, we'll talk about that more in a little bit, Sean, because that is one of the points that I have. The next one is Strome continues to silence the haters. Now, where are all the people that didn't want Ryan Strome re-signed, thought that Ryan Strome was a bad idea to re-sign, or thought that his next contract would be really bad, or had wanted nothing to do with him because he was just a real bad player and he wasn't the 200-foot grit boy North American player that he should be as a North American? I was a little concerned about his next contract, but throwing that out the window now. He has just played so great as of late. He continues to do all of the things. And you know what he's doing on a nightly basis? He's playing consistently now. He's consistently playing physical. He's consistently engaged. I understand the hatred for the bad penalties. Yes, Ryan Strome is prone to taking bad penalties. But Ryan Strome is showing that he wants to be here. And, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I got a little excited last night when he went after Ryan Carpenter after the hit on Dryden Hunt. That was awesome to see. Ryan Strome is starting to tell people, hey, John, by the way, Ryan Strome is starting to tell people that he wants to be here. And he's showing it. He's showing it in the best ways possible. He's showing up to play every night. He's bringing his lunch pail. He's sticking up for his teammates. He's playing hard. He's not quitting on plays. This is the Ryan Strome you want as a number 2 center. So I will tell you right now, Ryan Strome is doing everything that he can to get that next contract. And you know what? I think that next contract is going to work because no matter what happens with Ryan Strome is going to continue to produce because the guy that he centers on his left side will continue to be an elite player for a very long time. And it's incredible to watch. But you know what? We can all admit we were wrong. I will admit that I was wrong about Kevin Rooney. I bashed that signing to no end. And what has he done? Nothing but shut me up. Yeah, nothing but shut me up. So, and Mike, you know what? You never understood the hate for Strome. You know what? And that's another thing. Again, we got him for Ryan Spooner. How much of that's one of the greatest wins in Rangers history in terms of trades. I mean, up there with the Ryan McDonough trade. So, and you know, where the cap space comes to Strome. Nemeth and Chytil traded in the offseason replaced with Jones and Barons. That's about $3 million freed up. Steven, you might be right. And this comment too, I know Kreider to Graves is the comparison because of the power forward style, the winger, the net front presence. But Ryan Strome, yes, is very underrated and is, again, an unsung hero. And Steven, I don't know if you saw me in your chat the other day on your show with Tyler yesterday, but you mentioned that Kevin Rooney is an unsung hero. It's funny because I was tweeting with a mutual follow of both of us, I believe. And I told him about maybe an hour or two before your show that Kevin Rooney was an unsung hero. So you and I need to get out of each other's heads because that's scary. I agree. Dominic, welcome to the show, by the way, because I don't think I've seen you on here before. Rumors for 5 years, 5.75. I'd be more than okay with that. That would be a steal. 6 or under would be a steal. I'd even go to 6.25, 6.5 for him. I think anything under 7 would be a real steal for Ryan Strome. It's just a matter of cap management. If it goes higher than 6, it's a matter of cap management for me. Reeves, yeah, we're going to talk about Revo in a bit, Mikey. Rooney, third on the team in goals, as many points as Clutterbuck, Martin, and Cizikas combined. Rooney, unsung hero. Yes, the bottom 6 is clicking, and I've been saying that in the posts on these. I mean, if I know you've been watching these, Steven. You've seen how much I've praised those bottom 2 lines. We have a 2 scene. It's Ryan Strome. I'm a believer. Yep. We're talking about talking with your buddy Mark last night, Mike, and you came to the conclusion that after going over the torts, AV and DQ, not all playing to strengths. I love Turk knowing what players can do. Yes, we're going to talk about Gallant a little later on, though. I want to get off of the Strome comments because yes, they do, Sean. I want to get off the Strome comments because, like I said, unfortunately I have to keep this one short today because I'm going to AEW. I got to meet up with friends soon, so I will move on to my next point. And Jacob Trouba plays his best game all year, plays with a snarl. I mean, he absolutely destroyed Jujhar Khaira, and I like Jujhar Khaira. I think that he's a good player. He's a good bottom 6 guy, a likable guy. He's been, from all I've heard about Jujhar Khaira, he's been a good teammate in both of his locations. So, and yes, Guntote Granny, welcome back, and thank you for this. Please remember, like, share, and subscribe, guys. We really do appreciate it if you could. But again, Trouba he's played so well as of late. Ever really since that second drubbing by Calgary, the 6-0 loss in Calgary. I think that Trouba has really, really turned his game around. And even with Keandre Miller having some up and down, playing better afterwards, but still having some up and down games here and there, like last night, which we'll get into in a little bit. Trouba is Trouba's been great. And I mean, either him or Lindgren at this point, Steven. Either him or Lindgren at this point. You could argue either or because Ryan Lindgren has been an unsung hero himself. So, again, yeah, this is absolutely true. The Khaira situation got to him. You could tell when he threw that hit and just his reactions, sitting there watching him on the bench afterwards. He didn't like that. He didn't want to see that happening. He just wanted to throw a big hit and wake his team up. And you know what? It's an unfortunate incident. It really is. You don't want to see that happen to Jujhar Khaira. He's a good guy, a good player. He had a concussion problem earlier on this year stemming from a fight. You feel bad for the guy, but I mean, it's just a hockey play. Oh, God, Mike, you're going to start this again? God, jeez. Oh, man, you guys are nuts. I can't get into all of that today again like we did the last time. I simply, guys, unfortunately, I just don't have the time for it today. I wish I did, but I wanted to get this in. So we're going to move on to my next point, and that's the third line. That energy line, as a friend of mine, Nick, check out his stuff, BKLYN Joker on Twitter. He writes for a publication. His stuff was really good. So good to hear this, by the way, Guntote and Granny. Hopefully he is doing better, and I hope for nothing but the best for Jujhar Khaira. Richard, thank you very much. I so appreciate this, and not only the donation itself, but the comment there. I very much appreciate that. Thank you so much for that comment. That comment means more to me than the donation itself. And I put a lot of work into these. I spend a lot of time watching these games, breaking everything down. If I feel like that I haven't watched a game enough or I wasn't paying enough attention in the game, I'll go back and I'll watch the game afterwards and make sure that I'm paying attention and make sure that these breakdowns are as accurate as I can possibly make them. So thank you very much. I really put in a lot of work for this. Thank you so much. Chris, and you too. Thank you very much, Chris. I really do appreciate it, guys. We really do. It means a lot for us. And you guys are right on all these comments here. Jack, the third line's electric. It's true. They've been the energy line. They've been bringing it every game. Ever since that line has been put together, they've had maybe one or two games where I thought their energy was not as good as the other games. but they were great again last night. Again, creating chances, they're just not finishing. You're right, Steven. Gauthier keeps improving. And Mike, you're right. We're clicking on all 4 lines here. Turk is able to run 4 lines because all 4 of them are clicking and they're just going out. And we don't have to worry about shortening a bench later in a game because of that. And we'll talk more about the 4th line in a bit because that's, again, they had a hell of a night. We're going to talk about game. You are a ball breaker, sir. I love you, Sean. You are a ball breaker. You're just like me. And John, yeah, I think John's got a good nickname for it. The Bulldog line. I want to refer to it as a Bulldog line. So, and Lucas, welcome back, bud. I know probably already covered it, but some of these people advocating for no more hitting in hockey. We didn't talk about that, but anybody who says no more hitting in hockey, you might have to find another sport. I'm gonna leave it at that. You might have to find another sport. This game is physical in nature. It's an unfortunate play that happened to Jujhar Khaira, but it's a clean hit. It's shoulder-to-shoulder contact. Unfortunately, it happens. It happens. And a lot of these people saying that have never played the game before. And again, I don't like being the guy that argues, oh, you never played the game. Because I know many people who have never played the game who are very smart hockey minds. And some of them are in this comment section right now. But you got to understand that sometimes these things happen in the heat of the moment. And sometimes the people who have played it have a better understanding of how and why these things happen and how unfortunate they actually are. And how these things can happen in a millisecond like that. So, yeah. And Steven, this is a great point. We'll talk about that in the Q&A section. I really didn't have him on the bullet points because I didn't think that he was bad. I didn't think he was his best, though. Again, we're going to talk about that later. Jack, they are unbelievably good at keeping the puck in the offensive zone, the pressuring. The goals will come. Yes, they will. I truly believe that they will. I hope that they do. But again, just amazing. John, thank you very much. We appreciate that. You're always very generous to us, man, and we really do appreciate that. So, again, thank you very much. If that third line starts finishing, watch out. Brandon, couldn't be totally more right about this. Welcome back, by the way. French Bulldog line? Filipino's not exactly French, my friend. You know this. So, Jack, it's also we add this to Laf's official list of skills. He can hit. Yes, he can. He's been throwing his body around as of late. French-Canadian Bulldog line. Again, Filipino's not really French-Canadian. I don't know. Joe, you're right about this. Gallant let the guys play. And I highlight this because this is what he's done for this third line. He's just let them go. And it's supposed to be fun and exciting, but willing to be responsible and accountable. And that's why we're getting everything out of these guys. David Quinn wasn't letting them do this. Gallant's letting them play. And that's why they're willing to go and dig in the trenches and fight and come back on defense. I can't explain George Parros, Mike. We all know this. Nobody can. So, Sean, you're right about this. Again, we'll go back to this later. Again, so 2021, 9 points in his first 25 games. 2021, 20 points in his first 24 games. Last season, followed it up with 41 in his final 31. Yeah, just British Bulldog line. I mean, I love my wrestling references right here. Philippe Lehidel. Yeah, I mean, that would be his name if he was French-Canadian, Steve. Richard, Fox. Unreal offensive talent. That pass to Kreider for the tip-in. More deflection, if anything. George Parasite. Yeah, Parasite. Yeah, Parasite, sorry. I thought you were sticking with the French-Canadian thing there, but you didn't say George's, so I figured out you were calling Paros a Parasite. I don't blame you. I love Kreider not being relegated to just rushing up the ice. That's his game. We're going to talk about him in a little bit. But that's him evolving. The fourth line goes beast mode. They had themselves a night. They were really good. I thought they were decent in the first 2 periods, giving you like one of their consistent nights, but they absolutely turned it up in that third period. They were great in that third period. So if you want to talk about a line that really turned their game up tonight, that fourth line just wore them down. And I'm gonna make a comparison here. I think I've made this before in the posts in the Facebook group. But if any of you are Giants fans or football fans that just remember the New York Giants running back trio of earth, wind, and fire, yes, a hockey comparison would be this. Yes. But the earth, wind, and fire line, the earth, wind, and fire trio for the New York Giants of football, and how Brandon Jacobs will go out and wear down opposing teams' defenses, defensive lines, front sevens, and then Derek Ward and Ahmad Bradshaw would come out and just absolutely cut them up afterwards. They are like a change of pace line. And the third line is like that too, to an extent. But these guys are the Brandon Jacobs. And the third line is the Ahmad Bradshaw and Derek Ward. Yes, Derek Ward. Where? Derek Ware, yeah. I don't know why I said Ward. But just yes. Jacobs, yeah, I had a Brandon Jacobs jersey too. I accidentally ripped mine, but yes, I was a big fan of Brandon Jacobs. Just annoying that he would get shoestring tackled at times. So, but you're right about this, Brandon. Reeves does not have an enforcer IQ. He's a player. He is a player. I do love that. The Nedved, Hlavich, Dvorak checkmates line, which almost ended up being the Nedved, Dvorak, Jágr checkmates, if you remember back in 2001 when Jágr was almost traded to the Rangers. So, yeah, wrestling reference. ECW's triple threat, Shane Douglas, Bam Bam Bigelow, and who was the third one in that? Was that just Incredible? I know you're gonna shame me for that, but I'm drawing a blank on that right now, Sean, and I deserve to get shamed for it. My head's not right now. I've just got a lot of stuff because I got to figure out what's going on with AEW, getting there and everything like that. So yes, the fourth line was a beast last night. They were great. They were incredible. I thought they were really good. This comment's hilarious. I'm gonna get to this. Chris Candido, sorry. Yeah, just incredible, Chris Candido. Yeah, but they were really, I thought that, I called him Ryan Gretzky again, because I thought he was really good. That area pass through the legs was just awesome. Fox knew it was coming. And again, Fox checkers, everybody else, Fox chess, everybody else checkers. See, that goes to show you how jumbled I am right now. I'm still all over the place. And yes, this is a great point. Barclay Goodrow looks great on that fourth line. He looks incredible there. I really think that he's just a fit there. I don't care if he makes $3.6 million. I don't care about the contracts. This is how hockey should work. If a player fits in a certain location and his contract is ridiculous, if it's for the greater good of the team, put him there. What is the problem? What matters more? A player being on a line that he should be on according to his contract, or the better good of the team and the team winning? If you answered anything other than the latter, I think you should have your head checked. And I say that in the nicest way possible. And yes, trying to fit him somewhere else was stupid and hoping for the impossible, because he just looked like crap with Zibanejad and Kreider, because he wasn't worth that. Trade Nemeth and waive Tenorti, and my hate for bad contracts vanishes. A little bit. Goodrow's contract is not great, but I'm gonna take him on the fourth line. 3.6 is not great, not for a fourth liner. Remember when everybody laughed at Montreal giving Brandon Prust $2.5 million back in 2012, 2013, the lockout season? I mean, everybody laughed at that contract. Yes, this is ultimately these two comments. Contract. I was looking at the word contract here in this comment from Lucas. But yes, his contract sucks. But as a fourth liner, he's good as a fourth liner. And this is the thing. They thought he would be a third liner, and that's what he was brought in to be. But he's been a fourth liner. And I will gladly take Barclay Goodrow, $3.6 million, over Patrick Nemeth, who is just not even NHL level defenseman at 2.5. So, and that's the thing, Joe, we have four lines. I've said this before. Turk can roll 4 lines throughout the entirety of the game because all 4 lines give them productive shifts. And that's a matchup nightmare for any team in the league. Give me any. I feel so confident playing any team in the league right now. Give me Washington. We're going to block this spam bot real quick. Give me Washington. Give me Colorado tonight. I wish Shesterkin was in net, but give me Colorado tonight. We're going to talk about Keandre in a little bit, Richard. I have him on the down part of it, but, give me Colorado, give me Washington, give me Calgary again. I want to rematch Calgary. I want to give them payback for the ass whippings that they gave the Rangers. Give me Calgary. I want payback for those games because I think the Rangers would absolutely beat them again. If Gauthier and Hunt are the reason why you gave the guy a 6-year deal that got bumped down the 4th line, and that's pretty embarrassing. Okay, I get what you're saying here, Lucas, but is it embarrassing or is it good on the flip side that Julien Gauthier is finally breaking out and that Dryden Hunt is a diamond in the rough type find for nothing? Yes, the contract is embarrassing, and the fact that Gaudreau has been bumped down to the 4th line after being on one of the best 3rd lines in the league is bad. But look at it from the flip side, Lucas. Glass half full, my friend. And you know me. I'm usually not Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows. But, and you know what? If you can admit to that, good. Good on you for understanding it both ways. So, yes, because I think it's a little bit of both, too. The 4th line being a threat like it is right now is invaluable. Yes, we're probably overpaying for the one part of it. Of course, yes. It's not really too big of a deal. And yes, the last part of this comment, how much did the Isles 4th line make? Martin was making what? Almost $2 million when he was at the Islanders the first time, and then when he came back, Clutterbuck was making $3.5 million. So if we want to talk about Barclay Goodrow's contract, look at Cal Clutterbuck. And then you have Casey Zizekas, who's making over $3 million. So, again, you got to pay to have good players in your bottom 6. And yes, this 4th line is arguably the best 4th line in the league right now. So, the end of this month, teams will be tougher, so it'll be a good measuring stick. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Chris G. So, it pays to have good 4 lines. I'm going to get to the next point, try to keep this one quick because we talked about him, but Revo went full Gretzky. Zizekas 2.5 now, but he was making 3 on the previous contract. So, and yes, Martin 1.5, but again, he was making 2.5 on his previous contract. So I was referring to the previous contracts. Sorry, should have clarified that, Steven. But Richard Hunt's playing well. No Nemeth and no Goodrow. We could have afforded Buchnevich. All right, I'm not going to go back into that. I mean, that horse has been beaten 50 million times over. I do agree with you, Richard, but I just, yeah. And yeah, this is a good point, Lucas. The contract screwed them. We're going to talk about Georgiev in a little bit, Mike, but I want to stick with Revo here because Revo was just really good tonight. He went full Gretzky on that pass, and I'm not even just going to talk about that pass and how ridiculous that was. But if you watch the play that he made on the second goal that the 4th line scored, Goodrow's goal, he battled behind the net, won the loose puck battle, and got the puck out front and took the shot, which ended up being a gigantic rebound, and then Barclay Goodrow scored on the rebound. So Revo is showing us more offensive skill than we ever thought. And I didn't think he had this much offensive skill, but something is clicking with that line. Those guys just understand their roles, where to be, and how. And the biggest thing that they understand is puck support. Puck support. And you know what? Just like with Mark and Chris Kreider, because we're going to talk about that in a little bit too, I will let you give yourself your pat on the back. Go ahead, do it. Pat yourself on the back. You deserve it. You manifested it. You called it. You said it was going to happen. Go ahead, because he's been nothing but a godsend to this team. He's changed the culture in the locker room, which is one of the big things that I've got to mention about it. You see him in the videos, and his interview the other day where he talked about the players-only meeting that they had, where all the players got together and they asked themselves the question, Do they want to be mediocre or do they want to be a playoff team? And I bet you any amount of money that Revo was one of the guys that asked that question or helped bring that question to the forefront. Because Revo is a guy that you could see it. You see it on the ice, the way that he is. I mean, his not looking during the shootout was hilarious. But, I mean, he seems like he just, not even seems, but you can tell that he's just a big time leader there, despite not having a letter. And I think that if things were maybe a little different, he probably could have had a letter because he's showing those leadership qualities. And yeah, I mean, I saw this comment. Yes. Yeah, you can be the tribal chief, buddy. Head of the table for that one. But yeah, it's just, you're right about this, Steven. Players need a new team really to flourish. We talked about the JT Miller thing with not taking the offseason seriously. San Luis and Tampa after, being undrafted in Calgary, signing in and just not working out in Calgary. Yes, Reeves and Rooney. And again, I bashed the Rooney signing. I will eat my crow for that one. I was all over them because I thought Rooney was bad in New Jersey. But yes, they struck gold twice. So, Dominic, you know what? I didn't think the third round pick was too high. And I said that during my Reeves video. I was more than okay with that move. And if you want, go back and watch the live stream I did when we got Reeves that night. I know, Sean, you were all over me that night, but I was okay with what they gave up to get him. I didn't think it was a whole lot. I thought the Sammy Blake trade for Pavel Buchnevich was a lot worse. And I referenced that several times throughout that video. So, but it's just amazing. You're right about this. Reeves had 16 points in 64 games in the WHL in his draft year. He just played his 700th NHL game. And yeah, you're right. It's unpredictable. Donald Brashear and Peter Worrell were scorers in juniors and ended up being fighters in the NHL. So, I mean, George Laraque became a better scorer towards the later part of his career. Ty Domi was another one. He was really just an energy guy and a fighter early on in his career, especially with the Rangers and the Jets. But what did he end up doing? He went to Toronto, and he ended up being an okay scorer. He ended up being a real good bottom six forward. So, Lucas, that's what I said before. They've been beating some bad teams. You're right. I want the measuring sticks. I do. I want Washington. I want Calgary again, even though I don't think we're getting Calgary again this season. But that's the thing. Culture change. That's what I mentioned before. And you know what? We all thought this whole thing with Wilson and Reeves and stuff like that was the overreaction to Wilson. But you know what? The Reeves trade was part of a culture change. So, you know what? During the preview, you said the Rangers would be second in the Metro. Yeah, go ahead. Pat yourself on the back. It's still early there, but I couldn't see them being this good right now. So, Derek Armstrong, Rangers legend, is right there, buddy. So, Anthony, welcome to the show. I don't think I've seen you in here because I don't recognize the profile picture. So, I love Artemi Panarin profile picture, so I would have pointed that one out. But I hope you're right on that one. I hope we get our 8th straight here, buddy. Let's go Rangers for that one. I'm going to go to the next point because I keep saying that I want to keep these short, and yet it's almost 4:30. The good second half after a sloppy first half. They played better in the second half of the second period. That's where I really noticed they started picking things up a little bit because that first period started, the first part of that second period started off really sloppy. And even Joe Micheletti said it right off the bat. He was like, this seems like a continuation of the first period because they were letting up high danger chances from the slot again. It seemed like everything was just continuing from the first period. So they really picked it up as that second period went along. They ended up tying the game up. The hit happened. And then the third period, I thought they just killed Chicago in that third period. They were really, really good aside from a few chances that Chicago got. But again, is something that I've noticed with this team, and I don't know if you guys are noticing it as well, but you're right about this, Sean. But And I've said this before. We'll get into that a little bit too. I will address that, Anthony, in the Q&A, but because I just wanted to highlight that because I thought it was a good comment. But they've been playing better as games have gone along for a long time now. And yes, I'm glad somebody notices this. Yes, they can handle adversity well, which is great. But yes, the poor starts are concerning. I do agree with you 150% on this entire comment, Lucas. But uh, I will take the glass half full part of it and talk about how they get better as the games go along. And if they're down in games, it doesn't feel like they're ever out of it. They keep it close. And you know, they got down in this game 2-1, but it felt like they were in it. They felt like they were in it. Brennan, you're right. We've beaten some elite teams. We've beaten Toronto. We've beaten Florida. So that's two of the elites right there. You're right about that. But I mean, they're getting better as games go along. I know the slow starts are a problem, and I've highlighted that. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. But a great way to rebound after a slow start. So Chris Kreider cuts his goalless streak off at 2 games. And that's not a lot at all. Chris Kreider, once again, I thought was really good on the penalty kill. And I really think you're right about this. I think he's much better positioned under Gallant for success than DQ and AV. And you know what? I thought that Kreider improved under AV as opposed to Tortorella, but there wasn't enough time to really say that. But his game started growing. I think part of it is his evolution in his own game. I think he's starting to understand the game in terms of smarts and not just running off side and getting bank passes from someone like Derek Stepan going in for breakaways. So DP, yes, we're going to talk about the power play in a little bit too, because they're playing very well right now. And Steven with another great stat. They call you Stat Boy for a reason, buddy. And this is one of the reasons. So hats off to you for that one. But Kreider looks like he's responding to Gallant. I don't think he's responded well to Quinn and AV. And yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit too, Chris. That's a really good point. But Kreider is responding well to Gallant. And I think that Gallant is just pushing to right. Yeah, I like this comment. Stat Boy became Stat Man with that one. Yeah, I think we need to rename you to Stat Man, Steven. Sounds a little bit like Scat Man, but yeah, have that as your theme song. I think that would be pretty funny. I just get reminded of basketball every time I hear that song. But yeah, I mean, Kreider, this is the thing for me. Even in Kreider's 2-game scoreless streak, he could have had 4 or 5 goals, but was snake bit. And welcome, DP. Welcome back. I saw you come in before with that comment. But Lucas, they did. But aside from then, when has this power play really been elite anytime recently in the last like 10, 15 years? 2006? Even then, they were good for they were good before Jágr hurt his shoulder during the Olympic break with the Jarkko Ruutu hit and everything like that. And they weren't the same after that power play wise because Jágr couldn't fire the puck as well. But yeah, so you're right. You're right, Mike. Good goalies happen. I went to highlight that one, but Steven's comment actually kind of goes into what I'm going to say in a little bit about the power play. So I want to highlight that, and I will highlight that in a little bit. But Kreider's all-around play has been really good this season. He's been great off the puck. He's been great on the penalty kill. And I got to give him that because I thought that the penalty kill would take a massive hit without Pavel Buchnevich being there. But Kevin Rooney's been solid. Barca Goodrow has been solid on the penalty kill. And Chris Kreider has jumped up with Mika Zibanejad, and he's played well. And Kakko has even played well in the penalty kill. So definitely want to highlight that for Kreider. So again, that kind of goes into the next point. The penalty kill was perfect last night. 4-4 has been very good as of late. Been improving after a shaky stretch. I love what I see here. Guys are getting sticks in lanes. They're not just going down to block shots, but they're getting sticks in lanes, and that's big for me, like I said, because you're supposed to block shots with your stick, not with your body. Get your stick in the lane, prevent the shot from getting too far off the ice. If you can get your stick on it early, you have a much better chance of deflecting the shot away and not on net and not causing trouble for your goaltender. So the penalty kill has been very good on that. Not only that, but they've been very good at getting into the shooting lanes and preventing teams from taking those high danger shots, which has been a big thing that I've been seeing. So I just wanted to highlight that because not a lot of people have been talking about the penalty kill. I haven't seen it a lot on Twitter, on other forms of social media, Facebook, so on. But I thought they were very good. So I didn't make a banner point for this for some weird reason. But I'm going to talk about the power play because that was my next thing. The power play was really good. The two goals on the power play were just really good. Steven's comment, they're 24.3% on the power play with 17 power play goals on 70 opportunities. That's the fourth highest in franchise history. He goes on to list the teams here: 77, 78, 78, 79, 83, 84. I think Mike Rogers was on the team that year. And then this year. So 20, and then he lists the fifth highest behind that, 84, 85 at 24%. So, yeah, I think that Lucas, I will talk about that a little more in the Q&A, by the way. But I think that the power play has been really, really good. I want to say that I want to say that it's just the puck movement is great. They're not overpassing it right now. They're making just enough passes. They're getting shots on net. And Artemi Panarin for another game has gotten a power play, has gotten another goal off of a rebound off of the puck movement. And that's the big thing for me. When players like Artemi Panarin start getting like out of character or uncharacteristic goals, like rebound goals like that, a power play is firing on all cylinders because they're giving you different looks. And that's the biggest thing for me. This power play is giving them different looks. So I want to say that he just that's great to see. Kreider, yeah, he needs only 13 more goals for 30, and he has 68 games. He needs 27 for 40 and has 68 games. And I think 27 goals in 68 games is more than possible. Do I think he ends up doing it? I don't know, but it's possible. So, I would still prefer Kakko or Lafreniere on power play 1. I want to see Lafreniere on power play 1. I just think he has an elite shot. But Ryan Strome, if he's going to continue to move the puck and actually shoot it, you can't argue with the success that they've been having with that 5 lately. So they had one bad game where I believe it was against Philly, where they just looked like they were just not on, where they had a couple of bad looks on the power play, that first unit. But I mean, ever since then, they've been good. Or maybe, I'm sorry. It was the San Jose game where they looked bad on the power play. So, but yeah, exactly. It's tough to justify the power play right now. If they go into a big slump, then yes, yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree, Lucas. So you can't change that up right now. I'm going to move on to the bad and say that again, as I mentioned it before, sloppy first period. They just looked off. I know the goal was good early, but after that, it was just a lot of like WTF moments. Because I'm not going to say the words there, but yeah, it was just like, what are you doing? I sat there and I was like, okay, like, why is this guy wide open in the slot like this? And those types of shifts where they're letting up those chances are uncharacteristic, because a lot of the defensive gaffes lately from this team in terms of as a team, and I do like this too, Steven. That's a good point. We'll try to talk about that. Yes, this was the game. Yeah, thank you, Joe. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Fox also had a blunder in that game as well on the power play. So that power play just looked off for that one look, and even the second look was not as good either. So, but just sloppy plays. And this team has been so good lately at defending in their own zone during like sustained pressure. Like earlier on in the year, they were letting up a lot of high danger chances, and Shesterkin was bailing them out. And now, ever since that last Calgary drubbing, they tightened everything up in their own zone. And they weren't letting as many high danger chances up, and they were getting the puck out, and they weren't having to rely on Shesterkin. I mean, if you want to still say that he stole a Florida game, okay, I understand the argument for it, but I thought they were much, much better in that game than they had been in any of the previous games prior this season. So I thought they were a much better team. But yes, this is a good point, DP. I agree with you there. But the first period was just a lot of that. And you know what? You're right, DP. Because they weren't winning faceoffs, and because of the fact that they weren't clearing the puck, the first period was very sloppy. And you know what? Into the second period, the early part of the second period was bad too. So yes, Nemeth and Fox both deflected. If Nemeth didn't deflect the Georgiev, the first goal that Georgiev let up, but he absolutely screened him on it. It just missed his hand by about this much, that much. I watched the replay. Nemeth just went in, but yeah. So Nemeth, we'll get to him a little later, but they cleaned everything up in the second part of the second period. So I mean, yes, but again, sloppy first period. Another poor start is concerning. Gallant will fix that, though. I have faith. I have no reason to doubt Gallant right now that he won't fix that. So another up and down game from Keandre Miller. Keandre Miller, since the last Calgary drubbing, since that 6-0 game, has looked a hell of a lot better. With the exception of, I would say, 2 to 3 games, this game was one of them. I thought he made some good plays, but again, the second goal, partially on him. I know Georgiev was a little out of position. Georgiev was definitely fighting it last night, but Keandre Miller was not good in that regard. So I've got to say that I wasn't happy with his game. I think he could have been better. I didn't think he was terrible, but he definitely could have been better. He moved the puck okay. I'll give him that. But yeah. So I want more from Keandre Miller. Not this up and down stuff. And I get it. He's young. He hasn't really played a full season's worth of hockey, but he's shown us that he could play better hockey than he played last night. And that's why I'm putting him here. So I will put him there. I think he can be better. I think he will get better. So too many high danger chances in the first half of the game. And I know that ties into the other point, but this was uncharacteristic from them. It just guys being left open in the slot, rebound chances with guys not being tied up, like the second goal. Just that was not them. They've been much better at this lately, and they were just not good enough in the first half of that game in these little details. So you've got to eliminate the high danger chances. There were just way, way too many of them. I'll give Georgiev credit. He did stop a good portion of them. So I know a couple went in, but you can't kill him completely. But he kind of ties into my next point. He looked off. He was definitely fighting it last night. You could just tell in his body language. There was a time after the second goal where they panned to him and you saw his face, and it looked like, oh shit, I'm fighting this. I need to wake up. So I will. And Jack, yeah, absolutely agreed with that. Absolutely agreed with that on that point, Jack. But he's got a type as guy, but I thought that Georgiev was definitely fighting it last night. I think he can, and I think he will be better. I think he just needs to settle down. I'm surprised that he hasn't settled down with Jacob Trouba playing as well as he's played. You figured Jacob Trouba would be the calming influence. It seems Miller's play is still kind of sporadic. You're right about this, Jack. And that was something that I was pointing out last night on Twitter, is that he was overcompensating. He was overcompensating and overcommitting. So he was going bad. Like he would look really bad. Like I know that the Saturday night game against Chicago, he got hit in the head because he was just out of position on a shot. So I will tell you right now that he just wasn't. He didn't have it. He settled down as the game went along, but I didn't think that he was as good as he was in some. Like in the Sharks game, I thought he was really good when he came in, and in the game after that, I thought he was really good. But definitely not these two games against Chicago. I think that he was a little off. Something seems off, and I think Allaire will work on that. But and the other part, the only ugly thing I had was just this man. And I know, Steven, you made a comment before where you said at least Nemeth didn't try to assassinate our goalie. Baby steps. Here it is. I found it. Yeah, I know, but his game was just ugly. And it wasn't just the defensive gaffes for me last night with Nemeth. It was the fact that he sat there and just was just bad managing the puck. And I'm going to, let me be clear. I am not asking Patrick Nemeth to be Adam Fox or an elite puck mover like a Cal McCarr or Quinn Hughes. All I am asking is to be able to make plays that any competent NHL defender should be able to make. Like it's not, again, not even this, Sean. What he was doing was holding on to the he'd have the puck, and instead of holding on to it for that extra 1 to 3 seconds and looking up and making a play, he would fumble it off like a hot potato and turn it over. So instead of, exactly, Steven, we just don't want him to be Stu Bickle, and that's what he's being right now. Yeah, and I would agree with this, Jack. I would love to see Nils Lundkvist with a competent defensive partner. I would really love to see what Nils Lundkvist could do, because it looks like he's getting more comfortable as the season goes on. But Nemeth is holding him back from really being what I think he could be this season. I know Nils Lundkvist is going to be fine going forward, because you could just see that there is he is a very, very good and very talented player. So, but Nemeth, don't hold on to the puck. And yeah, we talked about that before, Lucas. Yeah, he can't, and this is the point. He can't move the puck. He, instead of taking two to 3 seconds to look up and move the puck and make the play to the guy for like a first pass. And these are simple passes I'm talking about. I'm not asking him to make hard passes. It's just simple passes to move the puck out. And he can't do that. It's a problem. And, you're right, Mike. We've been better off with Stahl than Nemeth, and that's all we need to know. The cap just didn't allow that to happen. So, and yes, you're right about this, Steven. They only signed Nemeth because he's Swedish. And I bashed this signing from the start. I said he was bad. A lot of people tried to give me shit about it. Where are those people now? Where are you now? You all hate him. That's why you're not around, because you all hate him, just like I did. So I hated this signing from the start. I didn't like it. It's getting worse. He's an eyesore to watch. He's an absolute eyesore. Yeah, and the puck dies on his stick. It just, every play dies on his stick. You're right, because he doesn't know how to move the puck properly. And we're not even talking about at an advanced level or even at an above average level. We're talking about at an average NHL player level. He is far below average at moving the puck. It's bad. So those are all my bullet points there. I got through those. I could do a quick little Q&A, but I've really got to get going soon. I probably could take maybe about 5 minutes from you guys. I'm really sorry. I wanted to get through this in like a half hour, but I was kind of incorporating your guys' questions because you guys were all making really good points in here. So, Jack, yeah, every time Nemeth touches the puck, I hold my breath. It was kind of like how Henrik Lundqvist when he handled the puck. Oh, my God, anxiety levels through the roof. So, I'll go through some of these other comments in the that were before. Chris G, Fox, what a block on Kreider with a stick. I was talking about that before. Absolutely. Absolutely. Lucas, the Rangers are not going to improve on faceoffs unless bringing in different players. Yeah. Mika, number one center, Mika score no goal. Mika need win faceoff. I get it. I agree. But I don't think we've seen the very best of Mika Zibanejad this season. And I think he's going to break through. It took him a while last year. He's going to break through again. Trust me. And yeah, Lucas, they all suck on draws. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're not doing anything to really win draws here. We need draws to be won. Nemeth is third worst in the league in GAR per 60 expected goals against relative per 60. Yeah, he's bad. He's bad. Only Ty Smith and Gustav Forsling are worse. Wow. Yeah, dumb wrestling. Who would have thought, Joe? Henrik Lundqvist is a better puck handler than Patrick Nemeth. I think that might actually be right. We are booing MJF tonight on Long Island. Don't care what anybody says. We're booing him because CM Punk is life. Speaking of puck handling, how much better is Igor at puck handling than Georgiev and Lundqvist and Patrick Nemeth? Yes, he is a lot better. If we had to name a captain, who would it be? Chris Kreider and Jacob Trouba are making some very good cases. Adam Fox is making a very good case. Hell, Ryan Reeves is making a very good case, even though that would probably not happen. The face-off issue runs a lot deeper than players. This team has not finished above 50% since 2009 on face-off. That stat, man, Steven, with that one. CM Filk. It's clobbering time! Had to get that one out there, but yeah. So, we're looking at a good team. But we were looking at a good team with bad face-off numbers. It's really it's a conundrum, if you will, because you need to win face-offs, especially in the playoffs. And I don't want to hear the arguments that face-offs don't matter. They do. Are they the be-all, end-all stat? No. But they definitely matter. Guys, I'm probably going to go another maybe about 5 minutes. I really need to get going. I'm so sorry. I would love to do this longer, but I'm going to I'm gonna have to cut this short another 5 minutes or so. So I will probably go, another 5 minutes. But Sean, I think Thunder Rosa would probably kick my ass. So I'm gonna back off of that. But I mean, yeah. Scarecrow, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Have I seen what article? Not sure what article you're referring to. Sorry about that, Scarecrow. If you can link it or just describe it, let me know. Am I cheering for Rangers Jericho? Chris Jericho, as you mean? Scarecrow, I didn't see the link. I didn't see anything. I didn't see any link, Scarecrow. I'm sorry. If we're talking about Chris Jericho, whose father, Ted Irvine, played for the Rangers, I am absolutely a Chris Jericho fan. Chris Jericho is one of my all-time favorites. I love Chris Jericho. I think Chris Jericho has a very big claim to arguably being the greatest wrestler of all time. And I know a lot of people are going to look at me and say, wow, how can you say that? If you've ever looked at Chris Jericho's resume in total, including his international resume and pre and post WWE resumes, you will see that Chris Jericho has a greater resume than almost anyone who has ever been in the business of wrestling. So Chris Jericho, for me, I mean, his New Japan success, his AEW success, his New Japan success and All Japan success pre WCW and ECW, Jericho has a better resume than The Rock. He has a better resume than Austin. He has a better resume than Hulk Hogan. The only thing that Hogan has is that Hogan is a bigger draw than almost anybody, maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin, that has ever been in the business. So, but I want to get back to hockey real quick. Jack, I'll answer this. Thoughts on shopping for a right wing? thinking it's still a need, but Dryden Hunt is buying us time. Couldn't agree more with that. Dryden Hunt is making the need far less than it really might be. So I think they will look at the deadline, but Dryden Hunt's doing a damn good job on that second line. He's slid into that Jesper Fast role. He really has. Lucas, despite the third line being good, do you think it's worth changing it at all to add a finisher there or just to get Laf going? Here's the conundrum, Lucas. Do you make the change and possibly screw with chemistry, or do you just let them go and let them be what they are and develop and let them go out? I think long term, it's probably best that you keep that line together and just let them go and let them do their thing. So, Chris G, I think we should be patient with third line. I definitely agree with you there. I think it's best. Richard, yes, we will be. And Stat Man Steven, as I'm going to call him, because he's been bringing the stats today, is going to be involved with that show. So we will keep you all posted on that. But Steven will be joining us. It's going to be a collaboration. It's going to be awesome. Definitely tune into that. We're going to have a lot of information because Steven is great with prospects. I consider myself decent with them, but Steven's got a wealth of knowledge on them that towers over mine. So it's going to be an awesome show. So definitely tune in. We will give you more updates in the future as to when that's going to be, but we are going to be working on that. So yes, Richard, absolutely. Lucas, long-term, I think they may just figure it out themselves. That's the thing. That's my point. I agree with them. Jack, you're right. I think we leave them alone. I just think it's best for development to leave them alone and just let them grow together. Because what happens if that third line can turn into a second line one day? Then they start producing like a second line on your third line, and then you can move them for assets and keep the cycle going and bring in other guys that could come in and do what they're doing down the road. So that helps the team. That's best for the team if you ask me. But again, we'll see. You never know. Maybe they fall into a slump and Gallant decides, you know what? They've been into a slump for too long. Maybe they change it up. We don't know. Well, then you win the cup. Yeah. I mean, that's ultimately the goal, obviously. So, and we all rejoice. And we all get together and we all have a ton of drinks and we all sing the goal song and the victory song and we all have the greatest time of our lives. So, yes, that's what the goal is. John, I'd rather have McNabb from Vegas. I don't know if McNabb gets moved. I really don't. I understand that he would be a big improvement over Nemeth because he's a nasty guy. So first rounds on Lucas, holding you to that one. I am going to hold you to that one, sir, and I have video proof of it. Just remember that. I have video proof. So first rounds on Lucas, everybody. But yeah, I would be more than happy to grab a round myself if they win the cup. Boys, girls, we will all have to meet. Lucas screenshot. Sean, I am not posting that comment. We are not doing that. Crazy. But yeah. So, but John, just to finish, I don't think McNabb is going to be available, but my God, what a replacement and what an upgrade he would be over Nemeth. So, guys, I am unfortunately going to have to cut this short. I hate doing this, and I love the fact that you all joined me for this, and I wanted this to be a little longer. I'm sorry. I wish I would have been able to do this a little earlier today. That's my fault. I apologize. Dominic, thank you for watching from Switzerland, by the way, then. Appreciate that. And I know that you're new to the show because I haven't seen you too many times in the comment section, but thank you for joining in from Switzerland. I love all of our international viewers. I know Dino. I haven't seen Dino in the comment section in a while. There are some others that, have joined us from Australia, Greece. I mean, I love the international flavor. Tomas and Leo from Finland. Again, Bill, thank you, buddy. And great to have you on as always. Mike, yeah, we need to meet up when Steven's in town. I agree with that. Totally agree with that. I tried to do it when Steven was in town recently, and yeah, Sean really doesn't do heroin. He's just being crazy. So, but yes, Enjoy the game. I wish I could enjoy the game. I'm going to be watching AEW. I will DVR it. I will try to do a good and bad and ugly maybe early tomorrow, if I can. If not, maybe I'll incorporate it as a part of the episode quickly. I'm going to talk to Mark about that. So we're going to see what happens with that. So because I believe the game is a 7:00 game, right? No. Hold on here. Just got a text in the group from Mark. Mike. Yeah. So Fox and McCarr on Broadway tonight, though. Showdown of Norris Trophy, guys. So enjoyed that. I will be at AEW. I will let you know how UBS is. I'm looking forward to being in UBS. So 7 p.m. game. Mr. Pops, Fresh, and Meyer. It looks like you're new to the channel as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to the show. And guys, thank you all and girls as well for our female viewers, because I know we have female viewers. Ariana, Diane. I know I'm drawing Shannon. I know I'm drawing blanks on names, but Brandon, thank you very much as well, buddy. Appreciate it. And I will hope to maybe either do one of these either tomorrow before our regular show, or I will try to incorporate it into our like I said, our normal together show that we're going to be doing tomorrow, because we're not going to be able to do obviously the normal Wednesday show today. So thank you very much, guys and girls. Have a great night. I'm going to enjoy AEW, as you guys are all see in the comments. Thank you very much. And thank you very, very much. Let's go, Rangers. Have a great night, everybody. Hopefully we win this game. So, and yep, as Mark's last comment, heading to the game right now, I will see you all tomorrow.